By the name of Allah, the most compassionate, most merciful. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Hope everyone is fine and healthy. Today we are going to discuss about economic institutions and the role of economic institutions in development of society. As we talked in our second lecture, that there are five basic basic social institutions which is operating in human life. In societies, and these five basic institutions are established for a particular purpose. The particular purpose might be there just to fulfill the needs of humans in the society. So we discussed the first family institution, which is very important. If there is no family, so how is it possible the other institution will come into existence? So family are the first and foremost institution that plays a major and vital roles. Second institution which is important, that is a human. For humans, because all humans activities are concerned with economic, so that's why for their existence and survival of human society they need to do some economic activity. So that's why today we're going to discuss about the economic institutions. So economic institution, as you know, that human behavior is mainly concerned with the satisfaction of material wants. They would like to satisfy their wants, their wants and demand and desire by material. So for that reason they need some economic activity. So it is centered on the task of making a living. The most absorbing interest of a man is just to do something for their life in order to get something and to bring some positive changes in their life. So they need for their economic activity to go ahead with it. To that end, in all ages, everyone wants to bring changes in their life. Economically would like to be, financially they have to be strong enough, or to be in middle age. So among all people of the world, around the world, people in all classes of the people, whether that is rich class people, that is middle class, lower class, whatever the class of the people, social class of the people are there, they all struggle to bring about changes in their environment. So example of economic activities are earning money. For example, we get money. So if we do not do economic activity, so we will not get the money. So we cannot isolate ourselves from economies, because our physical existence depends on these economies. We cannot live without production and consumptions, and it is one of the basic institutes of society. Economic institution is one of the basic institute of society, because without these economic institutions, without the consumption and production of goods and services, our existence on human society would not be possible. If families are there, so family needs to be financially supported, and their survival is important, their health is concerned, so they need to do some economic activities. So that's why today we are discussing about the economics institution. Before going to economic institutions definition, we define what is itself economics. As economic is concerned with efficient use or management of limited productive resources to achieve maximum satisfaction of human material wants. Economics is a science. Is concerned with is a science. This science is concerned with how to efficiently and effectively use and manage and govern and control and monitor a very limited resources in our society, in order to achieve a maximum result from that, and our humans material wants are fulfilled from a very less resources. So we are learning these methods, we are learning this management, we are learning this science, just how to get a maximum profit from a minimum resources. We are learning that in economics. So we say that economics is the study of how the society use a very limited resources to produce valuable commodities and distribute them among different peoples. So economics is a science is concerned with the process of system by which goods and services are produced. Goods and services are sold and bought. It is a study that itself, economics is a study in which we learn that how we make a very wise and smart decisions in a world where the resources are very limited, and it's sometimes called the science of decision making. Economic is also called sometimes the science of economic decision, because you have to decide and have to manage in a very little resources. How is it possible you get a maximum profit? We need a science. So that science is economics. So that is called economics. Now we have types of economics. We have two types of economics. One is called macroeconomics, another is called microeconomics. So microeconomics is the branch of economics that focus mainly on the behavior of individuals, participation in various markets. This microeconomics is concerned with the specific economic units parts that makes an economic system and the relation between those parts. It studies it. In microeconomic, it is main emphasis or main stress is placed on understanding the behavior of individuals, household, friends, industries, and many more. While when we talk about the macroeconomics, is concerned with the economy as a whole or a large segment of it. So it focuses on such problem as the role of unemployment in the societies, the changing level of prices like inflation rates, the nation total output of goods and services, the GDP, in the ways in which government raises and spend money. So as a whole, it is a branch of economics that takes a wide range of view of the economy, studying the behavior of economic sectors. So microeconomics, we can give an example of like, for example, microeconomic is like when we are looking at the trees, while macroeconomic when we are looking to the forest. It means trees in forest. Trees are little and forest are more. So trees are like, for example, microeconomic and forest are macroeconomics. Both categories involve the construction of theory and formulation of policies, activity that are the hearts of economic. Micro and macro both makes the formulation, leads to the formulation of some strategies, some policies, some theories, and these constructs a system that these two systems then become the heads of economics. So we have two types of economics, that is micro, a very small portion it study, macro, a huge or large portion it studies of economies. And now that we discuss itself, now what is an economic institutions? So economic institutions, the term economic institution refers to two things: specific agency of foundation, both might be government or private. They are the government or private agencies or institutions are devoted to collecting or studying economic data, or they are commissioned with the job of supplying goods or services that is important for the economy of a country. So economic institutions are established in order to supply goods and services, which is very important and essential, vital for the economy of a country. So where there is no economic institution in a country, there will be no economic progress, and there will be no economic growth and development, and there will be a lot of economical crisis. People will be suffering more problems in regards to their unemployment rate, inflation rates, and many other things that would happen and that will affect the normal life of the peoples if a society where there is no economic institutions. So these economic institutions are playing a major roles in order to collect the data and devote their times and energy that how to bring economic growth and economic development and to raise the level of standard of people who are living in a specific geographical area. So that is why economic institutions are playing a major roles, like a family institution is. An economic institution, there are peoples who are living there and who are working there. They are cooperating and coordinating with each subordinates. They are work like a team in teamworks, and they do this activity in order to bring some positive changes in the life of peoples and to bring some economic growth and developments in the society, and to raise the level of standard of peoples, in order to prevent the unemployment rates and inflation rates, and to make all these things stable. So economic institutions are working there, the experts are there, the financial experts are there, so the economists are sitting there, and they do work there just to make and develop a society economically, a stable society. So we do need their supports. So that is important. Next thing that we are going to discuss, that what are the role of these economic institutions in human societies. As you know that economics is important for many areas of society. It can help improve living standard. It can make society a better place. Economics is like a science in it that it can be used to improve living standard, and also it make things worse. It partly depends on the priorities of society and what we consider most important. So economic is the most important thing. You get to know how society, how governments, and how businesses, how households, and how individuals allocate their limited resources and income. That is what important to know about the economics. This economic will tell us about that how from a very low small business you get a maximum profit and fulfill your needs. So the economics can also provide valuable knowledge for making decisions in everyday life. Economics is concerned with the optimal distribution of resources in society. So if there is no economics, how is it possible you will distribute an optimal how is it possible an optimal and good distribution of resources in society? But it is possible when the economists play their vital roles in the construction of a theory and policy, that how a very limited resource can be usefully managed in the society, that the maximum profit will goes to the societies, and they raise their level of standards, and economy of a country will grow, and there will be no economical crisis and economical recessions. So it's possible by the studying of economic institutions to understand first their rules. So the rule of economic institution is very important, like the rule of a family who makes a great society. Economic also make a great society. When there is less economical problem, there is less social problem. When there is less social problem, there is less tension. So all these are interrelated with the economic activity in a country. Now, there is an economic rule, such as, for example, provide for national defense. It's required that you have to know a strong economy if you have to defend your country in regard to the military sections. Address the environment concern. Many of environmental issues that today we are facing with, for example, air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, global warming, and some other health related issues are being faced due to many of the economical problem, because if economy of a country is very much high, so definitely they will easily control and prevent these environmental problems. So protect the property rights and make market more competitive. For government in a market economy, whenever the benefits of a government policy outweigh its cost, so we need the economics. Now, beside all these, we have some economic problem that exist in our society as well. So in regard to that, we are having some economical problem. So economic itself, if you talk about that, is concerned with the helping individual in society decide on the optimal allocation of our limited resources. So the fundamental problem of economic is said to be scarcity or limited resources. The idea that once our demand is greater than the resources we have, the economy faces then here a challenge and problem. The choice is here that what to produce is worth spending more on healthcare. How to produce, should we leave it to market force or implement government regulations? For whom to produce? How should we distribute resources? Should we place higher income tax on the? So or should we place higher taxes, income tax on the wealthiest in society? So there are three economical problems. So what to produce, and how to produce, and for whom to produce? These three problems are creating the main concern for economics. If we understand that what to produce, it means what is the demands of societies, and how to produce these things, and for whom we're producing these things. If we answer all these questions, definitely the economic problem will be economic problem will be almost solved. So here the words which concerning, that is economic institutions and sociology. So what do you mean by this? It means the term economic institution is usually used for socially sanctions, such as such concept and structures which men have developed in the process of satisfying their material needs. Economic institutions provide basic physical subsistence for society and meet need for food, shelter, clothing, and other necessities of life in the society. When we talk about the sociology, so sociology talks about society, and sociology talks about problem of people, social problem of people in society, whether that is health, education, economics, social, whatever the problem the people are facing in society, sociology talks about. So besides, along all these, it also talks about the economic problem as well. So here, the economic institutions, in regard to the development of society, it talks about that the economic institutions should provide the basic physical subsistence for society, and that should meet and fulfill the needs of the humans in the society who are living. For example, food, shelter, and clothing, and other necessities of life. So mainly, economic sociology is focusing on that how to improve, enhanced, and develop an economically well-established societies, that there the people are having an access to all the basic necessities of their life, and they are financially being supported, and there is no tension of any economic problems. So mainly the economic sociology that we are discussing, because of that, to develop the society in regard to the economy of a country. So there are three major international economic institutions, namely that is World Trade Organizations, International Monetary Fund, IMF, and United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. So these are the three major international economic institutions that are working around the world in supporting the well-deserved societies, and those society where there's living standard of people are very much low and many economic crises they are facing. So IMF is supporting them, World Trade Organization is supporting them, just to upgrade the society who are financially facing with financial crisis during the crisis management time. For example, if you see today Afghanistan, look at the example of Afghanistan, the war has devastated the economic structure of our country, and presently in this 2020, today we are facing with another critical situation, that is the coronavirus, which is affecting the economy of a country and the life of individuals. So Afghanistan, in regard to economic structure, is very weak, and all societies are poor society. Now IMF is supporting, International Monetary Fund Organization is supporting, United Nations, other international organizations are supporting Afghanistan financially in this economic crisis. So these are international economic institutions which are supporting the people around the world in the time of a crisis, in order to support them, in order to decrease the level of unemployment rates, and do something best that really the people wants at the time of a crisis. So there are four different types of economy. Like for example, we have a traditional economy, as it in the past it was being utilized by the agriculture or agrarian societies, in a market economy. Like for example, today we have the capitalist systems in command economy, That is because we can name them, like for example, socialist economy, where all the peoples are having an equal access to equal resources. That is a command economy. And a mixed economy, from where different economic systems are being indulged there, and many countries are practicing different types of economic system. So there are 4 different types of economies. So either some people might be going with a traditional economy, or with the developed one that might be a market economy or capitalism. In many of the society goes along with the command economy, and many of the countries of our society will goes with the mixed economy. So it depends about which system of economy suit them better, they will use them. So we have here another thing to discuss, that is specifically now, what is economic institution? We only defined previously economics. Now we're defining that what is economic institution. Economic institution deals with the production, distribution, exchange and consumption of goods and services, or the economy is the social institution that organizes a society's production, distribution and consumption of goods and services. This economic institution supporting the societies that to organize what to produce, how to distribute and how to consume these goods and services. Economic institutions are making these decisions. So beside this, that now we're going to discuss about the economic system. So economic system in every society is economic system makes a statement. Economist or economic system makes a statement about the justice by determining who is entitling to what. The 2 dominant economic systems in the world are capitalism and socialism. Most society have different blends of the 2 systems, so they might be using these 2 one. So economic system is a system of production and exchange of goods and services, as well as the allocation of resources in the societies. Is a system who is going to manage in the exchange of goods and services and allocation of the resources in the society. The economic system will do it. So we say it is a man-made and malleable system to regulate the production, resources, allocation, resource allocation, exchange and distribution of goods and services in a society or in a specific geographical area or economic order. Or we can say economic system is a system of production, resource allocation, distribution of goods and services within the society or within a given geographical area. Now, various economic systems will be practiced in various societies. It depends upon which system suits them better, they will utilize that in order to fulfill the requirements of society and to manage the economic problems. So there are 2 dominant economic systems that exist around the world. There are different types of modern governmental economic systems have emerged, each of which have organized a different economic activity. But the 2 dominant economic systems in the world that are functioning is capitalism and socialism. So now, what is capitalism? Capitalism is a system under which the resources and means of production are privately owned. Citizens are only encouraged to seek profit for themselves in success or failure of an enterprise, and companies determined by free market economy competition. For example, the United States is one of the most purely capitalistic society in the world. Most US business is privately owned, but the government does regulate the business activity. So the capitalist system results in greater productivity. There will be higher overall standard of living. There will be greater income inequalities and freedom to act according to self-interest. So an ideal capitalist economy has 3 distinctive features. It means that ideal capitalist economy have three distinctive features. These three features are, it means that how we understand that ideal capitalist system of economy. There will be a private ownership of property, pursuit of personal profit will be theirs, and competition in consumers' choice and consumer regulates. A free market economy is one of the one of the capitalist society. In capitalist system, amount to freedom of the marketplace is almost free. So capitalism, the rich will become more richer and the poor become poorer because the resources are privately owned by those people who are having a control over it, and they will utilize their capitals, they will utilize their incomes in the markets, and they will get the maximum profits from this capitalist system, while the poor will become more poorer because all resources are only restricted to the rich people in the societies. While there is two types of capitalism. One is called welfare capitalism, another is called state capitalism. So welfare capitalism is an economic and political system that combines a mostly market-based economy with extensive social welfare program. It means that many welfare activities are being performed in welfare capitalism's economies. If the taxes are being collected from the peoples, so that is being used in the societies through the government to provide some free facility for other peoples. So that is welfare capitalism. Or is a system that feature a market-based economy coupled with an extensive social welfare system that includes free health care and education for all citizens. So some of the country, for example, Italy and Sweden, they are providing their citizens with free healthcare systems and free education for all their citizens in the societies because there is a welfare capitalism. So this welfare capitalism, Sweden itself in Italy allows the private business ownerships to do their own business, but the government is having a significant part of the control of their economy. So the government is putting high taxes on the rich people, and this will help to pay for extensive government services for all. Then the government will provide the services for all the people in the country. So most industries are privately owned but highly regulated by the government. So in capitalism, welfare capitalism, it means the government is regulating the activity of the businesses and industries. They are putting higher taxes, imposing more taxes on the industries, and they're taking these taxes, and the government is then using this amount of money over the welfare activity. For example, people are their health is being secured and treated free of cost in Italy and Sweden because welfare capitalism system is there. A to Z education. Free in India, in Italy and in Sweden, it's free. You can freely get educations from A to Z. It means from nursery till become professional degree holders because welfare capitalism. Why your education is free? Because governments are imposing the taxes on the capitalist peoples, on the people who are having more income. Their taxes is being gathered and they're being utilized in the society by the poor peoples. Another that is called state capitalism is an economic and political system in which companies are privately owned but cooperate and help coordinate closely with the government, or it's a system under which resource and means of production are privately owned but they are closely monitored and regulated by the government. So what the government do? Government works in partnership with a large company by supplying them in the crisis of financial assistance and controlling foreign imports. For example, if you see many of the countries around the world are in the economic recession, they do help their biggest company giving the money in order to prevent the economic floods. So government are giving financial supports to the biggest company and controlling. They do control the foreign imports that they should not enter to the markets. For example, Japan, Singapore, and South Korea have a state capitalist economy. South Korea government works closely with the country major company to ensure their success in the global marketplace. It means that in this state capitalism, the government are helping with the biggest companies. One thing is that providing the financial assistance. Second thing is that the government would like to help the biggest company in regard to foreign imports that should not enter to countries. And another things, the government is helping these biggest company to find a marketplace, a global marketplace to their product, to their products in the global markets. So that is state capitalism. While socialism is opposite to capitalism. So socialism is an economic system under which the resources and means of production are owned by the society as a whole. Rights to private properties are very limited. It means people are not that much free to do their free market business. The goods of the whole society is stressed more than individual profits are not encouraged in socialism. Individual profits are not encouraged, while there is group interest is imperative. So the government maintains the control of economy. For example, Venezuela and China have mostly socialist economies. The government owns and controls almost all natural resources in its ideal forms. It has three opposite features to capitalism. Some countries like, for example, Bolivia, Egypt, and Sri Lanka are having socialism. It means that private profits are not encouraged. Well, everyone should have an equal and access to resources in a country. So the government owns and controls almost all natural resources in the socialism. So what is the feature of this? There is collective ownership of property, pursuits of collecting goals, and government control of economy. Socialism results in less productivity, lower overall standard of living, less income inequality, freedom from basic want. Socialism and communism are not the same. Communism is a hypothetical economic and political system in which members are always not encouraged on the individual basis to get their benefits. So these two systems are existing very dominant around the world, either capitalism or socialism. But mixed economy is also there. Some other economic systems are also run around the world. But it best suits the society, the system which best suits the society, that system will be run on that economic systems. But each and every have not, or we can see no one, the economy of a country, economic system have been successful for helping their nations in a proper way. So people are using their different system to benefit their society. So that's why the question arises here, that why we should have to study the economic institutions in the sociology. As I told you that the subject of sociology is concerning in talking about the societal problems, and it talks about scientifically study the society. So a society may be facing with lots of problems from different angle and different aspects. So economic is one angle of the society that people are being faced with economic problems. So how to develop the economical sector of a society, and how the people living standards should be raised, how the unemployment rate should come down, and what system should run in a country, in a society where people should have an equal access to their economic resources, and they better utilize them, and they get the help from these, and they enjoy their good economic life, and there is a good improvement, a good growth of economy, growth of economy, and good economic developments are taking place. Now people are enjoying their life. Now, for that reason, the economic institutions are working in the societies just to fulfill the economic needs of the societies and fulfill the economic needs of the needs and demands of the society, and the people pass their life without any hardships. So today we discuss about economic institution. Hope that you got something, and facing with any problem. So in the online lecture, so students might be facing with many problems because there is no exchange of question and answer. So there is no exchange of question ideas. So that's why you might be facing with a lot of problems. Hope so once the class resumes into online, we will try our best just to recover these online classes once again in the class physically and solve your questions. Till then, Allah Hafiz, wish you all the best. Thank you for your attentions.